So we will catch hold of our Ambrish, and Ambrish is interested to talk to you about strategies in pharmacy. That's a very good example. So he will just take 10 minutes of time, right? So because he's actually soaked into the pharmaceutical industry, so anything he says is like a Bible for us in pharmaceuticals. Yeah. Now Ambrish will take over.
Thank you. Um, so today you heard that pricing models, right? In pharmaceutical industry, we don't follow any of these models. Actually, these management concepts are not 100% applicable to pharmaceutical industry. We have three, if you want to call it a model, you can call it a model. One is a value-based model, other is a volume-based model, third is a cost-plus model. So there are three models existing. So value-based means whatever the product value is, based on that, the model exists. Now, volume-based means amount of sales that will drive it. And cost-plus means whatever costs you have incurred, you add on to it, right? So, I can use a board now. So there are two types of drugs, right, in the market. One we call it as innovator drugs, right? Other we call it as generic drugs. So innovator drugs are which are having the patent still on, 20 years exclusivity is there, and generic is where exclusivity is expired, many people are manufacturing the same drug, right? So both the drugs operate in a different pricing strategy, both categories, right? So for example, in innovator drug, there is one thing is calculated as, how do you calculate the basic price of a drug, right? So let's say you pay 100 rupees to buy a strip of paracetamol, right? Now this is a generic drug, it comes here, right? So the cost of drug, initial cost of drug is calculated by few things. First is COGS, right? This is cost of goods and services. And this is normally, this is basically, you can call it as a raw material cost also. Normally approximately, let's say, 10 to 15% for generics. Right? Now we'll come to that. Then there is an operational cost. That's an operational cost, which would be again another 15%, right? Then there is a workforce or manpower. This is the most expensive. This is approximately 30 to 40%, right? That becomes 40, 50, 60, 70, right? And then there is a cost of facility, depreciation, and this is approximately 10% in pharma industry. Normally it's 5%. And then you have, apart from that, one more cost is additional cost, like facility cost and everything. This is the facility cost, which is another 10 to 15%, right? So overall, this comes to 100%. That's the cost is evolved. Now, how much is this 100%? After this, what happens? The drug goes into the supply chain. So supply chain is first goes to a regional hub, first goes to the main hub, distribution hub. Then it goes to the regional hub. Then it goes to the district level hub, right? Then finally to a distributor, and then finally to a retailer, right? That's a retailer. That's a big, broad value chain, right? So the cost about is how the pricing is done. Now this model is a volume-based pricing. This is a volume-based pricing, where the cost and goods of services, where essentially the price of the drug is essentially, let's say, here you pay 100, right? That was our cost. We started with 100 rupees. So here, the margin what retailers keep, sorry, the manufacturers have it, right, is not more than 20%. That's the maximum margin a generic drug gives, right? Rest 60 to 70% of the margin is with the distributor chain. It is divided, right? Maximum being, which will be the maximum? Can you guess? Who will have the maximum margin? The retailer. And that's the science, that's the management system also. That the last end of the last node gets margin, right? And this gets the minimum margin in the supply chain. And then system. So manufacturing margins would be different. So which means that 100 rupee drug which is being sold to you, how much is the cost for this manufacturer would be? Huh? 60 and 70, 80. So 60% margin is gone, right? 20% margin for the manufacturer. 80% is gone, which means the cost of drug is only 20 rupees, right? The rest is essentially the business. So the cost of drug, this it will be only 20 rupees, right? The whole strip would cost 20 rupees, but by the time it reaches your hand, it becomes 100 rupees. This is a volume-based pricing. Because, why volume-based? Because this margin is very less for the manufacturer. It's only 15 to 20%. The moment it increases, this will, so since this is less, this is only less for pharma business. But this is quite high for any other business. If somebody makes a 20% margin, it is considered as a very high margin. For any other business apart from pharma, this is a very high margin. But for pharma business, it's a low margin. Now in this case, what happens in other case? Here, let's say here the whole thing, chain would remain the same. Chain will not change. But here the innovator margin comes to 200% to 300%. That is the cost of the innovator margin, right? And then the supply chain also would be there. Supply chain here, it could be more or less like another supply chain, biggest barrier. So local manufacturing, right? So there is less of logistics. Logistic is less. The cost of logistic is the biggest problem in the Indian pharma company. It is 30%. The cost of logistic means nobody owns the logistics, so they are all contracted. So this is 30%. In this case, the cost of logistic could be approximately 100% of the product also, because it could be a cold chain, it could be coming from abroad, could be somewhere else, right? So what happens here in the end, since it's a value plus model, this is a value plus model. Here, the distributor margin, the supply chain margin would not be 60%, unlike generic, it would become almost 30%, 25 to 30%. That will just reverse. Because this is a monopolistic market. This is a competitive market. One is a monopolistic market. Only one company is producing a drug. It's a life-saving drug, and that's why it's a monopolistic market. But that is a competitive market, right? So that's the basic difference about marketing strategies. Same pharma company marketing it in different ways, right? Pricing it in different ways. The question is, which we have to think about is, why would, if you are a distributor, you would market this drug, right? Why would you go for that? Why should you market that drug?
That is branded. That is branded.
Doctors prescribe this one. Because this 60% margin, this 60% is easy to convince somebody that, by either goods or services, that you can divide from this 60%. But here, it is difficult. But the improvise. Improvise means? No, not less side. Side effects are all the same. We are not talking about that. We are not talking about that direction. More R&D gone, that's why innovator is charging higher price. But this is being sold because that is the only class of treatment available. But, and that is not covered by the insurance sector. This is not covered by insurance sector most often, even in outside India also. But here the insurance sector plays a role, right? So the costing dynamic is good. You can, So these are the basic factors which are involved in any costing dynamics of any good. You have this, and then you consider this, what do you call this, right? This 30%, this one. This is called as EBITDA margin, right? After everything, the profit margin, what is left. So unless and until, so this is how this is slightly different from the pricing models we have seen before, right? Here the pricing margin would change based on competition. Now imagine this is the standard. Another competitor comes in for the drug. Then it will, same model will come to a competition-based model. The same volume-based model will become a competition-based model. And what would happen? This chain would not change its margin. This value chain will not change. Because if you don't, somebody else is ready to give it. So this is always on a profitable note, the distribution chain. Only what will be losing is this 20% might have to go down to 15%. And that 5% would be distributed here. And that will become more complex, right? Or you might have to reduce your 20 rupees to bring it down to 15 rupees. That's where sometimes you might see a quality issue. So, are not always the best quality of drugs which are known. Now, another challenge is this, where you can reduce. You cannot reduce on here. You cannot reduce here. This is operational cost. Not difficult to reduce. Again, you cannot reduce on salaries. Difficult to reduce. First cost. This is your depreciation. This will happen. As the time goes, machinery will go old, everything will go old. Now this is the facility cost. This will again happen. What you can reduce here is raw material. Buy a cheaper raw material. Let's say in India, before COVID, we were buying it from China. Almost 90% was coming from China. Now only 40% is imported because of the increased tariff. What Trump is every day telling, tariff. This is because of that. And it's already happened. So now it's only 40%, right? So there are the different way of modeling of it and how to look at it, and from a business perspective, how the competition comes. This is an example to show how the competition sets in. When there is no competition, the margin remains at 300%. When the competition sets in, it dips down almost to 30%, 20%, even less than that, if the competition sets in, right? And then you have to manage the business by working on the cost here, right? Sometimes you might work on this cost also. Bring in less cheaper labor, right? Bring down this 30-40% to maybe 15-20% by reducing the workforce, adding double shifts. But again, that is error prone, right? That is error prone. So you do more errors. But yeah, this margin remains constant, the distributor margin. This is something it rarely changes unless and until there are parallel distributors. Now, government or these pharma companies like generic makers were not allowing parallel distributors. But now parallel distributors. So now this margin is slightly going down in that way. Still, that's a heavily controlled market. So I would just, this was just to give a small example, right? How the pricing would be happening, how it happens in a real time, in a real sense, how the pricing is determined, how the prices are determined for what you pay, right? So this bottle costs you 20 rupees. Do you think that's really 20 rupees? No. It would be not more than 1 rupee. If you calculate everything, it will not be more than 1 rupee. That is the cost of this bottle. Rest all is somebody's margin. And that's why business is profitable. Otherwise, it is, what is the difference between a salaried class and an entrepreneur? Right? So, okay, ma'am. That's, yeah, sure.
Beyond this topic, it's not related to now people are going for
People are going for?
self-medication. So they themselves prescribe tablets for their disease.
Huh.
It is a good or bad?
It's definitely bad. Ideally not.
Because one time they will go to doctor and they will get
Sir, what subject you teach? So, sir, can I learn it myself? I don't need you. In my college, will I get a degree? So, sir, then the answer remains the same. Everybody has a speciality, and we have to go with that speciality.
now in the society was one time they are going to doctor and they are getting prescription and they are using for the whole year.
So, same thing, no? One time you take my exam, and I say, no, for now, next 5 years, I don't need exam because I have just given one exam. So, that should be sufficient. No, sir, that has to be through a doctor only. Self-harmful. Unless until you have knowledge. If you have knowledge, and if you don't have a degree also, but you should have a solid knowledge, like in a law, you might not be able to practice in court, but you have a solid knowledge of legal knowledge, then you can at least even convince your lawyer also what to do. So that way, that simple thing.
A senior
Right. Right. Yes, sir.
In retailers, the product that means medicines expires in the shop. Is there any bypass for the distributors?
Yes. Yes, sir. This is there. So the stock is only 50% sold and 50% is expired. Now that who will bear the burden for it? So this is the multiple models exist. It's part burden or it's complete burden. If it's a drug which is less prescribed, then it's a or which is less in demand or other way around, which is heavily prescribed, then there is no buyback because then it has to be sold. But non which is rare drug, not prescribed, but the cost is high. In there, this margin of 20% would be higher, and then they will buy it back. So if this margin reaches 30%, then the buyback exists. From that case.
Some householders expired medicine, they make it powder and mix it with the
So that all that wrong practices happens. No, so expired medicine is expired medicine because why it's expired? Because after that we cannot guarantee it's a drug. Anybody, sir, we cannot guarantee it. Then it becomes it's as good as poison. So if for plants, of poison is a poison, and expired medicine is a poison. It's as good as that because it degrades. We don't know what happens after that. All right, sir. Yeah. So, ma'am, I have to go for my.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ambrish. I think he explained very clearly about how the pricing can happen. I think with the calculation, that sits more effectively in our brain. Thank you so much. Yeah.
I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you.
So coming back to business model canvas, you have white papers over there. The most important thing which I wanted to inform you is AICT has sent us a mail saying that there is 3 different assignments, participants. So you have to do 2 out of this, and you have to take minimum 2 hours to complete those kind of things, at home. We are not going to make you sit here. Out of 3, we will give all those things online, most probably on 28th. You can take time and you can refer books and do whatever you want, but prepare a very nice business plan and canvas actually. So that kind of an exercise will help you, right? You can call us anytime if you have any doubts. So those things, out of 3, you should be actually submitting 2 online. So you have to do it and make a photo, or maybe most probably convert it into PDF and upload. The link will be shared only after the FDP. So that is the important thing. And tomorrow we have the visit, right? How are you planning your travel? How are you coming? And where are we going to be as a group? And then we have to move as a group because they're not going to say that everybody can come and see. So you have any idea about the TBA? Technology Business Incubator in Mahila University. Yeah, in Mahila University. So it's in engineering block. So you can enter the Mahila University main gate and take a slight left and then again straight, and there is no other turning is required. So if you can assemble there, just please bring your ID cards, FDP ID, and then we will make sure that at the main gate they will not stop you anywhere. So we are not here. That is why I am just telling that, tomorrow after the game and all that, around 2 to 3 o'clock, after lunch, we may be leaving. And then we'll spend almost 1 hour in travel. And then, 1 more hour there watching all those kinds of things, exhibits, and how an incubation is taken care of. And after that, we can straight away go home, not an issue. So I think that's going to be fine, right? So tomorrow, don't miss, but there is a very attractive kind of talks. 2 talks are there. Like I said, the Kriya University professor is one, and 2 more foundation members are coming. How was the morning session with Ms. Rajita? Yeah, you liked it, right? So practically, bring any PPT or anything, but every word is out of her hard work. She's from a very well-off family. Her parents were already there in a export business, but look at the way she molded herself, right? At sometimes we feel very bad, they ask a lot of cheap questions. irritating us, but we should not really lose our temper. That's what she learned. That's what she's telling. So in that way, we are bringing two more people for your experience. So, and with that, tomorrow we'll complete. And the day after, 28th is a very sensitive day for us. We have our foundation day going on. And morning, we have full time, like, half a day session will be taken care of by another professor. She's also a woman scientist from Mahila University. And she's a very good speaker. She speaks really well, and she will motivate you. And the topic is based on creativity and idea generation. So she will make sure that you come up with product ideas. Okay, you follow her techniques, even though we are not finding anything, but still follow whatever, and then try to percolate it to your students. That's what I'm trying to tell, right? And afternoon, most probably, I will be taking you to our Coliseum. Anytime, maybe I should not say that, but just like that, you want to see that, it is not possible. But to have that experience, we have again entrepreneur-based scientists are coming. 3 speakers are there, internationally and nationally reputed people. So please listen to them. We have a high tea over there, and then actually on 28th, I planned a very grand lunch also for all of. So don't miss 28th at any cost, and it is important that everybody is here. Okay, right. So, any doubts related to Canvas? Business model Canvas? Yes. Huh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we have to go there. So if anybody needs, I can. Those who are coming in your own vehicle, you can manage. But those who are coming from far off places, let me have the list. How many people, so that I can make sure that we get a cab for that. Yeah. So I will take the details from Sampath. Is it okay? Yeah, fine. Okay. So, after that visit, you may get dropped at the bus stand or whichever place, and you are coming back here? No, you are also going to city. Okay, fine, fine. You are coming back. You are staying inside the campus. Yeah, anyways, they will come here. They will come here and report, so you can get down at ISER. Yeah, no issues. You are also here. Okay, both of you can be coming back. Staying here, okay. You checked in, sir, already? Sharing with him. Okay, done. So 3 people are there, and the remaining are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Yeah. So 3 people from the hostel and 4 people, 5 people from outside. Oh, we need a bigger vehicle maybe, or we can arrange for 2 cabs. No issues. I'll arrange, right? Okay, we will get the vehicle here, and from here we can go, right? Okay. So anything more you want to, or we'll disperse? Any doubts related to the canvas, please let me know. And like Madam said, 9 of them are there. So 3 of them each represent a position like, customers and activities, and the final one is external. So make sure you understand. Otherwise also, we are always there to discuss. You can call us and you can always disturb us, no problem. Thank you so much. Yeah, have a nice evening. Yeah, bye. Allow your attendance, right? Yeah. We are away from